Canada, a country known for maple syrup, polite people, stunning landscapes, and universal health care. But beneath the calm surface, something is stirring. The dream of the Great White North may be quietly unraveling. Cracks in the economy, growing political divisions, a healthcare system in crisis, and a wildfire season that may never end. And now, even Canada's immigration policies, once a global gold standard, are being scaled back. What's going on? Is Canada still the peaceful powerhouse we thought it was, or is it sliding toward a catastrophic national crisis? Welcome back to Maps Explained, where we dive deep into the history, geography, and mysteries shaping our world. In today's video, we're peeling back the layers of a nation under pressure, Canada.
Good morning, Mason. Take us through what the report says.
From its strained healthcare and collapsing housing market to the flames engulfing its forests and the political tremors beneath its provinces, we'll uncover 8 warning signs that could shatter the country's carefully crafted image. And by the end of this video, you'll see the true fault lines, hidden just below Canada's tranquil surface. Stick with us, because this isn't just about Canada, it's a warning for every modern democracy on Earth. It's supposed to be the ladder to a better life. But in Canada, higher education is becoming a cliff, steep, narrow, and dangerously expensive. Tuition at Canadian universities has been climbing for years. Today, it averages over $7,000 per year for undergrads, and much more for graduate or professional programs. And some international students pay over $50,000 a year. Limited spaces at top schools only raise the stakes. The result is a generation of young Canadians boxed out of opportunity before their careers even begin.
Our education system in British Columbia today is teaching kids what to think. It's not teaching kids how to think.
And those who do make it in? Many leave with crushing debt. Surveys reveal that 1 in 3 regret the decision to enroll, burdened by loans that delay life's major milestones, buying a home, starting a family, or launching a business. Confidence in the future is crumbling. A 2024 Environics poll found that just 38% of Canadians under 30 feel optimistic about their economic future, the lowest in decades. There's a fault line splitting Canada, and it runs straight through its western provinces. In Alberta, anger is rising. Federal policies on energy and taxation have sparked a movement, not just for autonomy, but whispers of secession. And those whispers are growing louder. Saskatchewan and parts of British Columbia are showing similar cracks. What's fueling this regional rebellion? One word: resentment. In 1982, Pierre Trudeau pushed through constitutional changes that forced Alberta to bankroll other provinces. Then came the carbon tax, imposed decades later by his son, Justin Trudeau. For many in the West, it was déjà vu, betrayal on repeat. Now, tensions over pipelines, equalization payments, and environmental mandates are setting the stage for something Canada hasn't seen in generations: a real threat to national unity. It's the nation's deepest wound, and it's still bleeding. Despite generations of promises, 36 Indigenous communities still lack access to clean drinking water. Suicide rates remain tragically high, and basic infrastructure, roads, schools, housing, is still absent in many places. Reconciliation has become a buzzword, but progress moves at a glacial pace. Why? Critics point to bureaucracy, indifference, and a lack of political will. Indigenous voices are often drowned out in a system built to ignore them. Until that changes, the promise of reconciliation will remain just that, a promise. Once, owning a home in Canada was the cornerstone of the middle-class dream. Now, it's a fading mirage. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, the average home sells for over $1 million. Renters aren't spared either. More than 50% spend over 30% of their income on shelter, and it's only getting worse. Forecasts suggest another 10% hike in home prices by the end of 2025.
You point in your piece to the period around 2007, 2008 for a key inflection point driving affordability, driving home prices higher and affordability down.
As housing becomes an investment game for the wealthy, everyday Canadians are being squeezed out into basements, into motels, into tents. Canada is burning, literally. In 2023, wildfires scorched 18 million hectares of land, forcing entire communities to evacuate.
So my stock trailer burnt, my Jeep burnt, tractor and hay shredder, the gravel truck, my wife's Durango, everything burnt.
In 2024, the smoke was so thick it choked skylines in New York, Boston, and beyond.
And for a swim, and then we're driving back and saw the flames first starting. And it was amazing, Mary Kate, how fast that happened.
When wildfires erupted across eastern Canada this summer and smoke blanketed places like New York and DC, we wondered, is this a sign of what's to come?
When you have those streetlights that sort of illuminate all of the smoke that's currently in the air, I can smell it in the newsroom. So even inside, it has followed us inside in some cases as well.
Scientists say Canada is heating up twice as fast as the global average. Fire seasons are starting earlier, burning longer, and stretching the country's emergency response system to its limits. The smoke isn't just in the air. It's a warning sign, one we can't afford to ignore. From the outside, Canada's economy may appear steady, but beneath the surface lies a fragile system, propped up by debt, strained by inequality, and exposed to global shockwaves.
For every dollar of disposable income, Canadian households have $1.82 in debt. But it's how much of our income we're using to manage that debt that's alarming. For every dollar of disposable income, 15 cents goes to paying off debt. That's a record.
In 2023, household debt reached an astonishing 180% of disposable income, making Canadians some of the most indebted people in the G7.
Canada's level of household debt is the highest in the G7 and has been growing for years.
We're not predicting it, but if there are widespread job losses, then paying off mortgages in that circumstance is really difficult.
But this isn't just about credit cards or bad budgeting. It's a survival mechanism. With wages stagnating and inflation climbing, many Canadians are forced to borrow just to stay afloat. Meanwhile, the divide between the wealthy and the working class is growing into a chasm. While a small elite grows richer through real estate and capital gains, millions are living paycheck to paycheck or falling behind entirely. The Bank of Canada has warned, if global trade tensions intensify or interest rates remain high, the entire system could buckle. A financial storm may be coming, and Canada is standing directly in its path. Behind the ER doors and beneath polite smiles, there's a silent crisis ravaging Canada. Mental illness.
The causes are complex, but the data points to kids being influenced by behaviors they witness.
A contagion effect.
Think of a behavior spreading from person to person, like a virus. Bad behaviors by adults, other kids, or online.
Since the pandemic, mental health has plummeted. Environics research reports it's 3 times worse than pre-COVID levels. Over 6 million Canadians can't access the care they need. In youth communities, suicide rates are climbing.
Canada has a severe shortage of family doctors, with over 6 million adults in Canada saying they don't have regular access to it.
Last year, CAMH led the launch of 988,
a number that anyone across Canada can call for support if they're thinking about suicide or worried about someone that they know. On average, the service receives around 1,000 calls per day.
Why? Because the system isn't built to handle this volume. Therapy and psychiatric services are expensive and often excluded from public health coverage. Those without deep pockets are left waiting months, or not seen at all. And it's not just mental health. Canada's once prized healthcare system is fracturing. Emergency rooms are overcrowded. Surgeries are delayed for 6 months or more. Millions have no family doctor.
Variations across the country, but on average, Canada puts around 6% of its healthcare spending into mental health initiatives. The Canadian Mental Health Association says that should be doubled, closer to the 15% that France spends or the 11% that Germany spends. If governments are not paying, then households are. And since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, with inflation, higher food costs, and rising rent, the Canadian Mental Health Association says that has been getting harder.
April 2025. In a single month, 30,000 jobs vanished. Only 7,400 were added. It was a warning shot. The unemployment rate has surged to 6.9%, pushing 1.6 million Canadians out of work. But beyond the numbers, a deeper problem is emerging. Economic security is evaporating.
Here you can see an image of it all. Unemployment rates in Canada, 6.9, Canada epicenter, Ontario, 7.8, Toronto is over 10% unemployment right now. So a very dangerous place to be.
Sectors like manufacturing and agriculture, Canada's historic foundations, are crumbling under automation and global competition. New jobs are increasingly part-time, temporary, or gig-based. The stability of a full-time role with benefits. For many, it's a relic of the past.
People increasingly worry about their financial health. When we take a look at the housing market, for example, home sales have dropped to the lowest level since 2009. This is largely driven by when people are worried about their jobs, the thought of buying a house is a lot less appealing.
Inflation and interest hikes are pushing families to the brink. Even those working full-time are struggling to afford groceries or cover rent. And as consumer confidence collapses, so does hope. Statistics Canada reports, confidence is now lower than it was during the 2008 recession. Canadians are bracing for something worse. So what happens next? If this trajectory holds, Canada could face a future marked by rising poverty, deeper division, and growing disillusionment. Healthcare and housing may become privileges. Young people could flee for opportunities elsewhere. And the country's famed social fabric? It may unravel. But the future isn't fixed. Some imagine a different outcome, one where Canada confronts its crises, rethinks its systems, and reclaims its values. Could it even become the 51st U.S. state? Could it rise again as a beacon of equity and opportunity? Both roads are possible. The question is, which path will Canada choose? So, is Canada truly facing a catastrophic crisis? 8 major warning signs say yes, from unaffordable homes and failing hospitals to rising debt and fractured provinces. But this isn't the end. This is the alarm. Canada is telling us something, that even the most admired democracies are vulnerable, that systems left to decay will eventually collapse, that reputations can't outrun reality forever. The question isn't whether the crisis is real, it's whether we'll respond before it's too late. If this video gave you chills or opened your eyes, click the like button and subscribe to Maps Explained. Which of these issues do you think is the most urgent for Canada to solve? Let us know in the comments. And until next time, keep questioning the map, because sometimes the scariest truths are hiding in plain sight.